Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code Grove City Hockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today. Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me are three very special guests, all members of the 6ixers from MyHa. I've got Calvin Higley, Michael Serper, and Steve Serper. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you? Hey, thanks for having us.
Oh, fantastic. So we've been trying to schedule this out for a little bit. I had an issue where the game that I was going to watch last week, when we originally scheduled to do this, they changed their start time from 6:30 to 7:50, and by the time we got back, it was already 10:30, and it was way too late for you guys. So I apologize for that. But hey, I'm glad you guys were able to make this work and jump on tonight. So. With that, let's jump in. We've got the 6ixers. You guys are sitting pretty in second place. There's a couple events left. How are you guys feeling now that all four of your tournaments have concluded? You guys are sitting in second place. The last three games, though, have all went into extra time. You guys have 2 wins or 2 losses, 1 win. So tell me a little bit of how you guys are feeling about your chances going into the championship weekend.
I think it really just depends on how we show up. If we play our game and try not to rush the puck, we kind of hold the puck, play roller hockey. I think we could play with any of the teams. We haven't played Cincy this year, who kind of is probably one of the better teams. I think it'll probably come down to us and Detroit Fuel. They look pretty good, but those tight games going into shootouts and stuff, I think we could have had those games if we played our own game.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where it's like anything can happen in a shootout. I don't necessarily think the better team always wins in those type of situations. It's all about just chance and luck. So, Steve, who's winning the game right now? I know you're watching the Edmonton and Boston game. What's the score right now?
Boston's up 1-0 with 4 minutes to go. But Edmonton just got a power play, so we'll see what happens here.
Oh, all right. So Mike, tell us a little bit about your role with the 6ixers. I haven't had a chance to do too much research. This is kind of like you guys are just kind of jumped on at the last second here. So give me a little insight of what you guys got going on here.
Yeah, so my Hawk experience started back in 2018. Curtis Adams had reached out to me and told me about this league that's going on in the States, and it's a travel league, and he explained how it works, and I thought it was a pretty cool idea. So I reached out to Steve, and then our buddy Easton, that's on our 6ixers team, and the four of us joined D-Rev back in 2018 for our first MyHa. We did pretty good. I think we ended 4th on the year, and then we took a couple years off, And then Curtis had reached out to us again last year and said, why don't we do our own Canadian team? So we did that. We did the A team. And whatever happened near the end of the season, we sat down and created the 6ixers for the final event of MyHa. Between me, Steven, and Cal, we came up with the logo and the jerseys, and then we brought the 6ixers to this season and put together this roster.
Cool. Now, tell me a little bit about who's on the roster. I know last year I was able to interview Darby McKinnon. The roster in my head, looking at it earlier this afternoon, slipped my mind. Is he actually playing with you guys this season, or did he kind of take a step back to focus on his ice business that he's got going on with his?
No, he's still playing with us full time.
Oh, I love that guy.
He's obviously focused with his hockey store, but yeah, he's still playing full time with us.
Yeah, he's a big part of the 6ixers.
Yeah, he's such a great interview too. He was very funny and all that stuff. So
Good guy.
So Cal, tell me a little bit about you. How did you get your start into roller hockey or ice hockey in general? Obviously you guys all being from Canada. Canada is one of those things where it's kind of like the Minnesota where everybody plays hockey. So tell me a little bit about how you got into it, and then I'll do the same questions with Mike and Steve.
Yeah, I mean, for me, hockey, my dad played, so I started on skates when I was 2, started playing house league at 3. Was kind of playing my whole life, and was playing AAA. I played for the Toronto Marlies growing up, and then halfway through I switched to York Simcoe Express, so I was kind of always on one of the top teams. And I think grade 3, I was 8 years old. A kid in my class who was like not very good at hockey, he told me about this roller hockey league that was in Thornhill, which is like in the GTA area. It's like maybe 20 minutes north of Toronto. And he told me to come out. I ended up, I remember it was our first game. I had 11 goals and 2 assists, and we won 13-11. And then the next day, I brought my buddy Dylan Smosswoods to come. And then the following game, I brought Daniel Levins, who's still plays with us to this day. Doesn't play Miha because he plays out in the Austrian Italian league, playing pro. So the 3 of us kind of started playing in our house league, and then when I think Steve, when we were 10 years old, we did our first Narch. We went out to Cincinnati. Steve played
about 11.
Yeah, something like that. So I played from that year on. I played Narch almost every single year. Our 93 team, when we were 18, we kind of formed a pro team with Phil Nolan with the Mississauga Rattlers. We played pro for a couple of years, and then kind of COVID happened, stopped playing. And then Mike gave me a call and kind of got me back into it a little bit. We've just been playing as much as we can since.
Yeah. So now tell me a little bit about the roller hockey in Canada. Is it you guys are struggling to have rinks to play at from the sounds of it? You have maybe 1 or 2 in the Toronto area. Is that correct?
Well, right now there's really just like 1 with floor. We kind of have 1 skate on Sundays that we can go to in the wintertime. But in the summertime, there's a really good league in Oakville and Mississauga. And, I would put the level, like some of the teams in our like competitive division, probably even above some of the Miha teams. Because some guys come home from, playing ice or whatever. So in the summertime, there's some good skates, but throughout the winter, it's really hard to find for us.
Right. Yeah. So, and your level of competition, because a lot of guys that I got a chance to play with years ago, Maury Hirsch, Adam Ludoff, John and Troy. Yeah, John and Troy Strong. Those guys had a chance
to play together.
What's that?
Are you sure you and Mike never played together? You play with all the guys Mike played with?
It's possible at some point, but I played my last year in Maiha was 2015. Actually, yeah, 2015, 2014. So I was in MLRH, Major League Roller Hockey, in 2010, all the way into that little stretch there. And then I had to have back surgery, and then I actually walked away from the game until just a couple years ago when I came back and started broadcasting and started doing this podcast stuff for GCH. And now I just bought a set of skates, to not necessarily to get back out there to play, but because my son, he's 4, I want him to start playing. So I'm like, all right,
Nice.
let's see what my body can do. I think if I'm able to play, it'll probably just be like one tournament, and then I'll probably be done. Just to see how the body holds up, but never say never,
Yeah, you say that until you start playing, then you'll probably want to keep going.
I know, but the thing is that if I jack up my back any more than it already is, then I will probably be wheelchair bound, and I'll be joining Dean Olivas in the wheelchair hockey league in Michigan there. So,
It looks pretty intense from what I see.
yeah, that stuff it really is pretty intense.
Probably more of a workout than it is on the floor.
Oh, and yeah, and the international play looks really cool too. To be able to.
Edmonton just buried with like 10 seconds left.
Oh, there you go. But Troy and John came and played with. They played for me when I had the Great Lakes Assassins. In Major League Roller Hockey, they came down for a couple weekends, and those guys are phenomenal. Well, yeah. So Mike, tell us how you got involved or how you developed your love for hockey. It's one of those.
I grew up playing goalie in ice hockey up until I was like 16, but I remember like it was yesterday when I was like 13. It was like a shitty day outside. It was raining, and I just wanted to play street hockey, like road hockey, but obviously couldn't. So like, I went on the internet. It was before Google. I remember that. It was like Yahoo search engine or something, and I just typed in like indoor road hockey league, and I came across this league called York Inline. It was run by these two brothers, the Cranston brothers. A lot of people from back in the day will remember them. So they started the York Inline League. It was in Thornhill, just north of Thornhill, like Toronto area. And that's where I started playing player, like in roller hockey. And then that was probably the same year Cal and Steve started playing in the league. They're younger than me. I'm an 89, they're 93s. So they're like 4 years younger than me. And then I coached the 93s for a few summers, few tournaments with Phil Nolan. And just kept playing all the men's divisions, everything like that, kept in it. And here I am playing well, now I'm taking a back seat at Mihawk because our team is so deep. It's like there's no room for me on the floor right now. So I'm just coaching the guys again.
Yeah.
We're pretty much where it all started with the 93s.
That's pretty cool. Steve, now tell me a little bit about your love for the game. How did that develop? And where did it come from? Yeah.
Yeah, I started playing around the same time as Cal, and we went to Norwich in Cincinnati. It was awesome. We played for a couple of years after that, and then I kind of fell off from roller hockey for a couple of years. I think I came back around like 19 years old or 20 years old or something like that. Mike brought me back to Winter Nationals for Norwich in North Carolina. I'll never forget it. I was awful, god awful. Could barely skate. I didn't have any skates. Someone gave me a pair of skates, and we ended up winning that tournament. It was men's silver, best time I ever had, and I never stopped playing. From there, I always played under Phil Nolan with the Rattlers. I was a little bit not as good as Cal and his buddies growing up, so I always had a gold team, and we always played against each other here and there, or I was always trying to play up on that team as well. Until finally, like, everyone separated and, COVID came. And me and Mike joined back into Miha recently. And ever since, I don't want to stop. It's been amazing.
That's awesome. So now you guys have you guys are sitting in second place. All of your tournaments are done. Now you have any teams that you really like playing against? Are there a couple of teams? I know you already mentioned the Cincy Ducks, where you didn't get a chance to play them this season, but you're hoping to play them at some point during the finals. Is there any other
rematch?
Yeah. Is there any and I loved watching you guys play them last season. That is so fast. You guys' puck possession from both teams. I actually had you guys and the Kings again. Don't tell the Buffalo New Era guys, because I just didn't with them the week before, and they were so mad at me for my little shout out, because I had you guys, Fresh Coast, and the Cincy Kings at that time. I had them, as the top three, and I didn't even have Buffalo on my radar. This year they're a little they're struggling a little bit, but I think they're going to come around just like they did last year.
Don't count them. They'll be right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Come finals, they'll be ready.
Oh yeah, and so go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say I like playing against New Era. Like, I find it's a speedy, fast game. A lot of goals. I think they're good guys too, so I kind of like playing against them. We always have good games, and it's respectful. Cincy, I think we haven't played them all year, so I think it'd be good to play them again. And we always have good games. It's tough, but respectful as well. And then Fuel, I think, is on that level too. Obviously, I think they're undefeated. So
they have one loss.
Oh, do they? So
one or two. Yeah.
I would say Fresh Coast. I feel like they're not as good as the other teams just from our play, even though we've lost to them. I feel like when a push comes to shove later on, I think they're not as hard to beat, and we beat ourselves against them, in my opinion.
Well, we did have good battles with them. Like, I think we played them like 4 times in the last 2 events, and they were all great games. Like, one of them went to overtime, right, or shootout?
It was just shootout. No, the Buffalo New Era was the
New Era game went to overtime. Yeah, because it was playoffs.
Yep.
Oh
and
yeah.
Then,
The TFC game, they were good games. They were tough games.
Yeah, we played so much this year though, and I think I like playing New Era the most. It's like Al said, it's fast paced, very competitive, and at the end of it, we could shake hands. The thing is, we're kind of on the similar ends. We're both the teams out on the outskirts with the referees, so we kind of won that battle last time. So it's an enjoyable game with them.
Yeah,
we don't usually get those calls.
Yeah, watching Dad Bod Todd and Roy Davis, playing out there for New Era is always is fun for me, especially after interviewing them last year. Those guys are always great. They have good chemistry, and they have a good chirp game too. But watching you guys again last year, and then I haven't had a chance to see too much of your guys' games this year, because I don't think they've been broadcasting while you guys were there. Maybe one event, if I'm not mistaken, this year.
2 events. The only one where we had our full team out there.
Yeah. So I didn't get a chance to see that. If I can get a chance to get over to Detroit for the championship weekend, I will try. And that's where I'm really gonna just be like, boom, this is gonna be so much fun. But again, with the baby, it's kind of hard. You want to be there for mom and baby B. She's only 7 months old right now, so she
and take you.
Yeah, well, she is super into watching hockey, and so last night we were watching Colorado and Chicago, and it's 9:30, 10 o'clock, and the game's just about to start, and she's just about ready to go down, and the game comes on, and she sits right up, and she's like, "Ooh, let's watch this," and I'm like, "All right." So we watched a little bit of it, and then we fell asleep in the chair. because right now you can't put her in her crib without her tripping. So as long as one of us is holding her, she's happy.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and of course she loves watching hockey in person as well. So I might just bring the whole family with me and say, you know what, come watch so I can watch some high class, high quality roller hockey, because I miss being at the rink with you guys, and just watching you guys play.
Steve will have to keep it PG if your daughter comes.
Well, no, more so my son, because if you say anything, my son is a parrot and he will repeat exactly what you say.
Don't show him the video of Steven breaking some guy's stick over his knee.
We have.
I get that there.
Although he stood up for his stick this year.
Well, there you go. Yeah, no, Luke, he's quite the character himself. He'll. So my fiance said like something, and he just went to town with it, and it was like, bro, you can't be saying that in public like that, And
yeah, that's exactly what I do with Mike's daughter. It's perfect. I don't got to deal with it. So maybe your son around the rink around me might not be the best call, but have a good time. Sure. You'll have a great time.
As long as because he's always asking, hey, Dad, can I play on your phone? Can I play on your phone? And I'm like, no, like this is cool stuff, man.
For sure. I can guarantee. I always entertain.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. So you got championships coming up. You said you guys want to take on the Fuel, Cincy Kings, the Fresh Coast. What are you guys' preparations going into that? Because now you have championships aren't until May, right?
Yeah, so our home league starts in end of April.
Okay.
I think like April 23rd or something. So the guys will have a few weeks on the floor before the finals event. But I'd like to get a couple skates in and get our MyHot team out there and against some of the local high level teams that we play against in Oakville.
Yeah, that would be sick. You might always think about reaching out to a couple of the guys in Detroit at the JCC. They can always put together, a good quality team. You guys can get some scrimmaging in.
Yeah, for sure. But home is so much closer than going 3.5 hours. So that would make the most sense.
Right. I just realized that as soon as I said that, I'm like, wait a minute, they're in Toronto. They're not right across in Windsor.
And Darby can
Darby can go practice in Detroit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he's in Sarnia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's right across Port Huron, I think.
Yeah, he plays in the Fraser League every week.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a Nexus pass, so he doesn't have to wait at the border. Perfect.
Yeah, that's crazy. What are some of your guys' favorite moments playing roller hockey or ice hockey, for that matter? And do you guys have a preference? Do you guys prefer ice over roller or roller over ice? Or is it just hockey to you?
Well, my all-time favorite moment was I got to play on Team Canada World Juniors back in 08 or 09. Nice. It was in Philly. Somehow, some way, I made the team. I guess I had that extra $500 to jump on the squad, but that was a good memory. We lost. We won bronze against the Czechs in the bronze medal game. We lost to the U.S. in the semis in overtime. So I'll always remember that. And then between roller and ice, at this point, I enjoy both of them just as much. It's two different games, so it's always nice to change it up a little bit. Throughout the year, I'm always we only have that one Sunday skate for roller in the winter, so we try to get out there as much as we can. Mm-hmm. And then summer and in the summertime, I play roller once or twice a week, and then ice once a week. So it's a good mix,
There you go, Calvin. How about you, bud?
For me, the best roller moment probably when we were 16. Me and Levins, the guy I spoke about before, we got called up to play for the junior platinum team at Narch. and we actually ended up winning Narch. And we beat Palma that had like Etan Chavera and Stefan Legion, who played in the show. We beat them in the round robin and then also in the finals. And we were 16 years old, and our team was older, but we were looked at as a team that just like wasn't supposed to win, and we kind of pulled through and did. But your second question, I would say roller was always like an escape from ice hockey. Like you got to play another sport that was still hockey, and like the politics, like in Toronto, the minor hockey politics are insane. I don't know how it is in the States, probably not as much. But like just getting away from, all that and just having fun with a group of guys that you only played with in the summertime. Our 93 group stuck together. A lot of us are still friends, like me and Serp since we were 8 years old, me and Levins, a bunch of guys. We still play together on our competitive team in the summers. So I think that part's awesome. You kind of see each other, and it's like it didn't stop, right?
Right. Steve, what about you?
Well, I play zero ice hockey, so I'm gonna definitely say roller hockey. I played ice hockey for growing up and everything, but I have no passion for it. I love roller hockey. I love the game. It's way different, way better. Anyone who steps on the floor loves it. They fall in love with it instantly. It's a whole different game. I step on the ice maybe twice a year, and then I tell myself, why the heck do I even do it? It's no fun. And favorite moment is probably I grew up playing with Malcolm Subban my whole life. And so I was really good friends with their family, and I slept at their house one night. And they grew up very very poor and lived in a 2-bedroom with one toilet. And I remember I slept there and I clogged that toilet, and they couldn't use it for weeks. And Corey will always be my favorite hockey memory of, because they grew up to be the most successful hockey players I know. So yeah, that's my favorite hockey moment.
His favorite hockey moment is he clogged the toilet at Malcolm Subban's house. That's amazing.
Yeah, when I was 7 or 8 years old.
Oh, that's even better. You didn't even know, you didn't even know anybody. You're like, it wasn't me, but now he knows.
It was 3. They knew it was me.
Malcolm actually used to be he was a defenseman on Steve's team. We used to play against him, and he was probably one of the best defensemen in the league. And then in Bantam, he switched to goalie and stayed AAA, and somehow just went first round of the NHL. It's insane.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. So you guys got some plans coming up for the future. Are you guys coming back next year as well for MyHa? Please tell me you guys are, because I can't wait to watch more of you guys, or more of you guys playing and getting better. Because the more you guys play together, the better you're going to be, and then the better the league is going to get. So please tell me you guys are coming back.
No, we're out. No, I'm just kidding. We'll be there, of course.
Awesome.
It's great. It's the only all year round thing we have going for roller, so it's a nice consistent 4 event year, and then you get the 5th event at the end of the year, right into summertime. So
we're trying to split some off, though. We have such a big roster because there's nowhere to play in the winter, and everyone wants to play. Mike's taking a step back because there's so many people that can play. So we're trying to do another T3 team or something like that, or have two.
And there's a lot of interest now in our Toronto area after everyone's seen us play in the MIHA League. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bunch of other teams next year in the lower tiers, maybe even in tier 2 as well. There's a lot of interest right now. So
that's good, because as a guy playing coming from the States, who always wanted that international competition to come over to the States, or just because I wasn't traveling at that time, when I was first playing. Then when I got the chance to play overseas, it's a whole nother ball game, and it's a whole nother fish to fry. And it always, you learn so much more about your game with those different aspects, with different players from different countries. coming over and playing, even though we are essentially next door neighbors. You guys are a different country. You guys have a different style of play, versus what the United States or the guys from the States. But it's very similar because we both play a physical style. But you kind of know where I'm going with that.
We're friendly. We're friendly out there.
Oh yeah, we're assholes.
Especially Steven.
We're the nicest people out there on the floor.
I would agree with you there. I would definitely agree with you there.
Some wouldn't.
Well, they don't know. They don't know niceness.
Sure.
But yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. I can't thank you guys enough. Calvin, you're leading in assists. You're in second in points. You got Mike and you got Steve Serper. Both you boys coming on. All three of you guys. I cannot thank you enough. I cannot wait to see how you guys do in the championships. Will you guys come back on just before championships? Let us know how you guys are doing, what you guys have been doing to prepare, and then give us your predictions for the championships. I kind of have an idea who you're going to say is going to win, but I want you guys to come back on. Does that sound like something we can do?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, again, I'm Ben W. Stock, Calvin, Mike, Steve. I can't thank you guys enough. We're going to see you guys on the flip side.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
thanks.